Back in Halloween, I talked about my favorite horror movie of all time, the 1999 remake of House on Haunted Hill. So why talk about its sequel, Return to House on Haunted Hill, on Christmas? Well, I have a very good reason. I first watched this movie on Christmas Day. I remember it like it was yesterday. Dinner was over, the presents were all unwrapped, everyone was ready to just settle in for the night. I was flipping through the channels and I saw this movie. I liked the first one so much, so I just had to watch its sequel. Well, let's just say that after about 10 minutes, everyone got up and went to bed. No, Return to House on Haunted Hill isn't a Christmas movie, but to me, it is.
They're here.
The opening credits aren't as creepy as the stop-motion ones from the first movie, but still, they're just as effective for setting the mood. It summarizes everything that happened to the house we saw before. Vandekut was a sadistic doctor. The patients revolted, the place was put into lockdown, and a fire broke out. You remember the deal. Now we meet Ariel Wolf, Sarah's sister from the first one. She's way too busy running a porno magazine to even think about Sarah, even though she keeps calling her about something pretty important. Now, we hop over to some college, where Dr. Richard Hammer is giving a lecture on cults, talking about something called the Baphomet statue, said to hold the soul of the demon itself. Pay attention to that, it's pretty important. Hey, is that Serena Vincent? Oh yeah, I forgot that she was in this movie. I don't know what it is. I just like her for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. I wasn't listening. I was just looking at your breasts.
Michelle's her name here, and she's one of Dr. Hammer's students. Taking the easy way to get an A, I guess. Kyle here interrupts, saying that they might have a lead on where the Baphomet statue is. Something the doctor's been looking for all of his adult life. The only person who might know is Sarah. But she was just found dead in her apartment.
Mom, what's wrong?
They rush over to find Ariel and Paul, her photographer and love interest, already there trying to find out what happened. Sarah's apartment looks, understandably so, like a crazy person lived there, with newspaper clippings about the house hanging all over the place. I get it. In general, the public believes that Price went nuts, murdered everyone, with Sarah and Eddie making it out alive. But we all know better. It was the house that killed all those people. Anyway, they're in here looking for Vandekut's journal, where he wrote the location of the idol. Ariel has a vision of her sister, or maybe it's a ghost, where she says she must help them, whatever that means. Hammer knows that in the right hands, that statue's worth millions. He's here to make sure it doesn't fall into those hands. He also thinks that Sarah was killed over what she knows.
All I'm saying is, be careful.
When Ariel goes home, she gets her mail, and wouldn't you know it, someone sent her the journal. Not long after that, someone knocks on her door, and thinking it's Paul, she opens right up. But really, it's hired guns sent to find this precious journal. They're led by Desmond, who does a fine job as a bad guy, don't get me wrong, but just look at his IMDb photo. Doesn't he just look like the friendliest dad at a barbecue? Ariel knows that these are the men that killed her sister, and Desmond can't have her running to the police, so her and Paul are forced to tag along. The first to show up hunting for the statue are the students and Hammer. They head on in, and it's cool to see the entryway again, this time run down from being abandoned, but mostly untouched from the first movie. Once inside, the bad guys show up, making Paul stay in the car with this goon, and Ariel goes in with the others. The two groups quickly meet up, and we see that they have some history here. Desmond was one of Hammer's old students, but how did he know about the journal? Oh, he's got a mole on the inside. Michelle double-crossed him, and is actually sleeping with Desmond. Her reasoning is, why would you want to graduate with an A and be a professor when you could just work with Desmond and sell the idol to live on a yacht? So basically she's greedy. They bicker back and forth a bit until they start to hear the lockdown spring to life. They rush to find the control room and get there much quicker this time. They open fire on it for some reason, but I guess that stops the lockdown for now. Desmond figures out that Vandicut hid the idol in a secret chamber in the basement. So he suggests they split up to find it, not knowing just how creepy it is down there. The first one to get killed is this guy. Of course it's the black guy who dies first. One cool thing that they do in this movie is they show the patient's past. Like when they touch you, you see what they've been through. This guy was literally bricked up into the wall and just left to die. What a good psychiatric hospital. Obviously he's ticked off about this and he pulls the dude in. Ouch. Next it's on to this chick who fools around with some naked ghosts. Probably not the best time for that, but okay. You might be thinking, alright, this movie just got good, but wait until you see their true form. Yeah, pretty freaky. She takes off down the hall and comes face to face with Vandicut himself, who slices her face off. In the main entranceway, we see Kyle and Unnamed Goon 2 hanging out. Something's moving on the couch, and the sheets come to life to start pulling the guy apart.
Help me out!
We see that it's actually ghosts pulling on the sheets, and what a way to go. I know it's kind of silly, but this is one of the more memorable kills in the movie. After he explodes, everyone comes in to regroup, and the lockdown roars to life once more. Ariel, not being a dummy, actually manages to escape. Good for her. Now all she needs to do is call the cops, get some help, and everyone will be safe. But once she sees her boyfriend Paul actually went inside, I guess that idea is put to rest in favor of arming up and actually walking back inside the haunted house.
Thank God, you okay?
What's a gun gonna do against ghosts? Once gathered together, everyone's cell phones start to go off, and they answer it all at the same time. It's Samuel, one of the hired guns, being murdered. Operated on by Vandicut himself. Everyone wonders what to do next. There's some fighting, but finally the good guys get a hold of the situation and look at the blueprints for the house for a way to escape. And luckily, they see a way out. There's a sewer tunnel down in the showers. So that's their goal. But first, they're gonna have to go through the hydrotherapy chamber. That's not gonna be fun. While we walk around, we learn a little bit about Vandicut's history. How he was a brilliant man, even winning the Nobel Prize at one point. How did he go from respectable citizen to butchering humans? It's the statue. You know, the whole reason everyone's here, the demon statue, that's why he's evil. They finally make it to the giant water tank, and a fight once again breaks out, with Kyle falling in. That's not good. Ariel dives in to save him, but now 2 people are in the most certainly haunted tank that was used to cure dozens of people. Kyle's pulled under and dragged to his death. Paul gets a chain in the water just in time as they get Ariel out. Desmond and Michelle manage to get away and are still looking for the Baphomet statue when they turn on each other. Desmond thinking that she now works for Hammer or something. Maybe it's the idol's influence corrupting his mind, or maybe he's just nuts. But he fires at her and she takes off running down the endless corridors until she finds herself in a sort of dining room. Behind her, the tables and chairs all lift up to the ceiling, and you just know that she's dead meat. All confirmed when Vandicut shows up and drops a giant fridge on her head. I will say, it looks like Jeffrey Combs had a lot of fun in this movie. What's left of the good guys make it to the showers and have a look around. Paul finding the sewer grate, but there's rebar in place so a human can't fit down there. While looking in, Ariel gets another vision. This time, the ghosts of the house telling her how to set them free. She needs to destroy the statue, and they show her where it is, the furnace. She might not like it, but she's gonna have to go there if she wants to put an end to all of this.
I know how to make it stop.
She leads the others to where the idol is hidden, deep in a secret tunnel near the heart of the house, which almost seems to be alive in itself. I kind of feel like I'm inside Jabu Jabu's belly. They find the statue and Ariel opens fire on it, but that does nothing. They quickly figure out that they can't destroy it, but they can move it away from the house. Maybe then it will lose its power over all the souls and set them free. So that's what they do, with the goal of throwing it into the sewer grate. But don't forget about Desmond. He's still alive, and he sees what they found. He wants it, but something else wants him. Tuberculosis patients who were burned alive. They throw him in the furnace and light him up. Now at the showers, Dr. Hammer just can't let Ariel get rid of the idol he searched his whole life for.
What are you doing?
Succumbed by its evil, he fights her for it, while the ghosts just watch. She wins out and comes face to face with Vannicut. He throws Hammer against the wall over and over, killing him. And while he's busy doing that, Ariel throws the idol into the sewer, where it's flushed outside. Vannicut's patients turn on him once again, the lockdown is lifted, and the house is just a house. Now that it's not full of ghosts, the Hill House would be a pretty cool place to explore. You wouldn't catch me dead in there, but still. There is an end credit scene too where a couple's doing it on the beach and the idol pokes her in the back. They dig it up and I assume its evil starts over somewhere else. I don't know how I feel about the idol. Part of me kinda likes it and the other part not so much. It does explain why the ghosts are trapped in the house and why it was such a horrible place. But on the other hand, it kind of takes away some of the scariness from Vannicut. Speaking of Vannicut, Jeffrey Combs had a bigger role this time around, which is good. But he's the only returning character from the first one. Even Sarah was played by another actress. It would have been nice to see the ghosts of Pritchett or Price. There's no blob monster either, and that may be for better or for worse. I think they knew their mistake, so they just left it out. I like how they went into some of the patient's history a little bit, but the set design wasn't quite as creepy as it was before. It still gets the job done, but nothing over the top. Remember that skinless horse just as you went down into the basement? That was inspired by real-life artwork. Everything here is just junk thrown in the corner with cobwebs on it. The main characters were fine, it was nothing special. Hammer does kind of sound like Jeffrey Rush in my opinion. I don't know if that's why they hired him or not, but it is kind of cool. And I may joke about Serena Vincent, but she is a good actress. The other neat thing I have to mention is that the Blu-ray version of this movie would pause at certain times and let you choose what happens next. Like it would say, should this girl go in this room and stuff like that. By the end, you'd be left with 96 different outcomes. That's cool, and I need to hunt the Blu-ray down. A Return to House on Haunted Hill isn't bad for being a direct-to-DVD movie. You might even be surprised, but it's not nearly as good as the original. I give it 2 amputation by bed sheets out of 4.